till 10. If you had to guess, what time do you think it is in Tokyo?
I'm going to go 6 hours. I think Hawaii, 6 hours. I'm going to go 6 hours for 500.
6 hours.
Ahead, 6 hours ahead.
Okay, I'm like, just 6 hours? No, you're wrong. It is 8:17 p.m. It's like 12 plus. It's 13 hours ahead.
Oh, when he in his bag, then he about to go to happy hour. Turn up.
It's way past happy hour in Tokyo right now. Okay, let's go, though, to Brian Windhorst here on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. We are going to the Goodyear hotline right now. It's Jay Cornette and Bart Scott filling in for the guys this morning. Good morning to you, Wendy, our ESPN NBA insider. Let's start with Team USA, shall we, since you are there in Tokyo. What stood out to you in the second half, especially of Team USA's win over the Czech Republic on Saturday?
That was as good of a half as Team USA has played since the 92 Dream Team.
Whoa.
They made 21 of their first 25 shots. I'm going to say that again. 21 of their first 25 shots in the second half. They played shutdown defense. Drew Holiday has just been a demon defensively, and that's important because they're facing some really good guards the rest of the way, and he is going to be out front on them. Kevin Durant looked like the Kevin Durant we expected. And if they play that way, I don't think this is a hot take. If they play that way, they will not be touched. But they have been inconsistent. And I will point out that in the first half of that same game, they were up by 4 points on the Czech Republic, who were not in their class. So it's obviously very encouraging, but I don't think it's something that you can guarantee going forward.
Now, they got Spain next. They're 16-2 all-time against Spain. What do you expect about in the next matchup?
You know, they handled Spain pretty well 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, I guess it was, in Las Vegas. And that was before they imported the guys from the finals who have been big additions, especially Holiday. Spain needs to be respected and is dangerous. Ricky Rubio has been a really good player, one of the highest scorers so far here in the Olympics. But if the Americans play well, the Spanish just don't have the firepower that they used to. It's an older team. They're relying heavily on 37 or 38-year-old Marc Gasol and 41-year-old Pau Gasol. If they play well, I don't think Spain can handle them.
You're listening to Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. Brian Windhorst is joining us from Japan, and his Summer Games news and notes is brought to you by California Almonds, representing your country or representing your trivia team. Almonds are natural fuel for the best you. California Almonds, own your everyday, every day. Okay, Wendy, let's go to what's going on here in the U.S. NBA free agency. It starts today, and all signs are pointing to the Heat perhaps bringing in Kyle Lowry. What is the latest that you know of what's going on in Miami?
Free agency is about half over. In fact, a lot of deals are basically in place. So we're going to see a lot of action after 6 o'clock. And it looks like Kyle Lowry, he had a choice, really three choices between Dallas, New Orleans, and Miami. And it appears that he has chosen Miami and that they've put a deal together to sign and trade him from Toronto, which bails Toronto out of the bizarre decision not to trade him last spring. And that is going to send off a cavalcade of other moves that come behind it, specifically with the point guards. I don't expect Chris Paul to move. I expect he'll get a very large new deal done with the Phoenix Suns. And then you're going to have other guys having to make decisions. Specifically, we're going to be watching a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie, who has several different options, and you'll start to see things fall into place from there.
I guess the biggest mystery of all of free agency is when or where does Ben Simmons get traded? What are you hearing about that?
As far as I know, they're not close to anything. And the type of conversations that they've had have left teams walking away thinking they don't really want to trade Ben Simmons now. They are asking for essentially the same type of package that the Brooklyn Nets got for James Harden back in the winter. And Ben Simmons' value just isn't there right now. So Daryl Morey is very calculated. I question the way he's going about this because he's basically telling one of his best players, we don't want you. But he doesn't seem to care about that. He must be waiting for something. There must be a series of events or a player that comes available that he's waiting for. We could speculate on that, but he is not acting like somebody who's seriously interested in trading Ben Simmons, and I do not think that it will happen in the short-term future.
He's looking for the same thing they got for James Harden? Is he kidding? with Ben Simmons. We're talking to Brian Windhorst right now, who's in Tokyo for us, our ESPN NBA insider here on KJZ this morning. Okay, let's touch on Kawhi Leonard. He declined his contract, but so now what do you expect to happen with Kawhi Leonard?
Well, it's very strange the way Kawhi operates. I really can't figure him out, and he does a very good job of keeping cards close to the vest, so I can't really tell you what I think he's going to do. I mean, there's an expectation within the league that he's going to resign, but I'm not going there yet. What I think is strange is him opting out of his contract is not really the best financial decision he could make. If he was 100% going to stay with the Clippers, he would stay into his contract and extend off of that. That financially would be the best decision. Also, if he had done that, he would have enabled the Clippers to apply for a disabled player exception, which would have given them a $10 million one-time exception they could use to sign a player in free agency that could add to that. By him opting out, they lose that. So that is not him operating in concert with the team, which makes me wonder what his intentions are. I'm not projecting what his intentions are. I'm just saying that he doesn't seem to be operating in concert with the Clippers. So I'm going to sit back and wait. I do not expect him to have a resolution in the short term here. He did this for a reason, and I'm going to try to figure out why he did that.
Good luck with that one. I tell you what, one of the interesting pieces there is Iguodala wasn't retained by Miami, and I know it's going to be a fight out west to see who can get Iggy. Can you see Iggy going back to a reunion with Golden State, or does LeBron convince him to come chase another title?
Guys, here's the thing. I honestly believe that the Lakers are going to need to sign 10 minimum players. Well, you just heard me. 10 minimum players. That means that they are going to have to look for guys to take discounts and fill different roles all across the board. So any player that you have that you think that they could get on the minimum, whether it's a guy like Carmelo Anthony, all the way down to a low-level shooter who just got released yesterday, a guy named Matt Thomas, they're going to be in the game for all guys who they may be able to get for that price, because they are not going to be able to outbid anybody. So absolutely they're going to go after Andre Iguodala. What role he may fill, whether his comfort is, I mean, that's a different question. But the Lakers can't, with where they are, they've got $123 million committed to 4 players. And I do assume that they will re-sign 1 or 2 of their free agents. I don't feel so good about Alex Caruso. I think there's a decent chance Alex Caruso is going to be elsewhere. I do feel good about Taylor Horton-Tucker, but they're going to have to just really work those veterans, and Iguodala is on that list for sure.
Explain this to me, Wendy, because I'm not familiar with a lot of the nuance as far as contracts with basketball like I am with football. But when the Big Three came together in Golden State, when the Big Three came together in Miami, they all restructured their contracts and didn't take as much as they could. Is it possible for them to restructure their contract, be it LeBron or Westbrook, to be able to create some more wiggle room so they don't have to go bottom fishing?
It is not. No, their contracts are locked in, and between the 3 of them, they will make $120 million this year, which is the highest 3-team players in the history of the game. And the salary cap, which obviously is a soft cap, it can be exceeded. Almost everybody exceeds it. The salary cap is $113 million. So in just those 3 players, they can't even fill out. If they had a hard salary cap, they couldn't even fill out a starting 5. So, but that said, there are going to be players who are going to want to come to the Lakers. So I do believe that they're going to still build a very strong team. They're just going to have to really work to put those guys together, just because they don't even have a full starting 5 right now.
Wow. Interesting stuff. All right, Wendy from Tokyo, thank you so much. I know it is late there. Hopefully you can go get some rest, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Go get a sake bomb, man.
Thanks for the latest on Team USA and also on free agency. We'll see you later.
Free agency starts at 5 a.m. I'll be ready.
All right. 5 a.m. I'm like so confused the time zone he's in. See you later. That's Brian Windhorst, our ESPN NBA insider. He's also the host of Brian Windhorst and the Hoop Collective podcast, giving us the latest on free agency. A lot there to unpack. Yeah. But in terms of what he just said, is there something that stood out to you? I mean, to me, the Lakers having to sign 10 minimum guys, that's a big number. Anything Wendy said that stood out to you?
Well, you're thinking about those 10 guys and who those possibilities can be. I think, JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard maybe having a reunion to try and get 2 rings in his Hall of Fame career. He's a guy that's made a lot of money throughout his career. That's all about seeming like he's chasing titles. I felt like he may feel a little disrespected that they didn't try and retain him. I think they realized that that was a problem because Andre Drummond wasn't the answer, right? And also, they missed not having a big man because you can't really rely on the fact that, that Anthony Davis is going to stay healthy the entire time. So I think, you look at McGee, you look at Howard, you look at guys like maybe like Thornton, like they said, they're going to have to bottom fish, but this means their margin for error is razor thin. Right?
Razor thin. And it sounds like Kawhi is going to stay with the Clippers despite.
Maybe so. You never know what Kawhi.
You never know what he's thinking. That's what I love about Kawhi Leonard. Like, he just he really moves in silence like lasagna. He's very, very under the radar. Like, you never know.
Yeah, Stephen A. dropped the bomb too, saying that if Dame isn't in Portland, he would like to come to New York. And the fact that New York and is maybe in the market for Carmelo having a reunion. So there's a lot of stuff out there. I think we're going to get some answers.
Melo's going to the Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, you can see that, right? But you never know. I mean,
you never know.
If Dame Dollar comes over here, could Kawhi and Dame Dollar want to hook up in the Big Apple? You know what I mean? Kawhi's uncle. I remember Kawhi when he was sneaking in under his uncle's name to the gym that I belonged to in Florham Park. Like, come on, man.
He's come a long way.
Like, you can palm the register. So we know this ain't no damn uncle, man. There's only one black dude walking around with the OG Bobby Johnson braids going to the back, and that's you, Kawhi.
NBA free agency is always an interesting place, as are Bart stories, which is why we keep them around. You know what I mean? Let's get to Sports Center.
They get paid by the story.